Hey little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone? I got a bad desire. Oh, I'm on fire. Tell me now, baby, is he good to you? Can he do to you those things I wouldn't do? I can take you higher. Oh, I'm on fire. Sometimes it's like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, cut a 6-foot valley through the middle of my soul. At night I wake up with the sheets soaking wet and a freight train running through the middle of my head. You cool my desire. Oh, I'm on fire.
Hey everybody, welcome to Local Chords. I'm your host Michael Kampa, and I'm here today with Bert Casperson, who's a local musician as well as a high school art teacher. So you're involved in a lot of different creative disciplines. So what do you think originally sparked that?
Well, I suppose because my dad was a musician and a music teacher, so I grew up with music in the house. A lot of Saturday mornings I'd wake up and he'd be blowing saxophone in the garage or something like that. And so music, I was always exposed to it early on. I think I was also always encouraged. I always liked to draw, and I was always encouraged to do that. Whereas I know some students I've had, they haven't had that same experience, but it was always something that was a positive in my life and encouraged by the people around me. Just whatever I wanted. If I wanted to get a guitar, my dad would take me shopping, and I'd get a job and I'd earn it. And but they was always encouraged, and he would help me and steer me to get me lessons or get me what I needed until I was old enough to take it from there. But it's been an important part of my life for sure all along, and I don't know if I'll ever stop. Hope not.
Your love is like a chunk of gold. It's hard to get and hard to hold. Like a rose that's soft to touch. Love so strong, it hurts so much. Well, then why must the same love that made me laugh make me cry? Well, you think of love as sitting on the mountain, think of it as being a great big rock. Won't you think before you start it to rolling down? Because once you start and you can't make it stop. I've given all what I have to give. And if you won't love me, I don't want to live. Well, then why must the same love that made me laugh make me cry? Why you wanna 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 make me cry?
So let's talk about your songwriting process more specifically. So when you get that inspiration for a song, how do you go about doing that? Do you start with music, lyrics, or how does that unfold?
One thing I try to do is I try to keep a notebook on me, because a lot of times it's a line, you see something and gives you a good line, and that's a starting point for a song. So if you have something, or if a smartphone is good now too, something to grab that first idea when it first hits you, and it's, I think, most vivid, or you can get it in the way that you were inspired by it, because if you wait and, it might mean something different to you, you might not quite get back in that same place. So I try to capture something right when it hits me. But as far as turning it into a song, I think I normally will come to the guitar first and work out a chord structure or a riff or something that I think is interesting musically, and then I'll flip through notebooks and things that I've written and see kind of what suits that, and then usually flesh out that first verse is pretty quick to come, but flesh out the rest of the song too. And that's the work for me anyway, is coming out with that second, third verse and trying to make it kind of a cohesive story or some kind of theme that runs through it. That's kind of the work. And you don't see that when someone's playing a song or something like that, but it's a lot, it's hours to sit there with pen and paper and scratch things out, and things work and don't, and maybe I'll have 5 pages of words written out, and to get it down to 1 page, that's going to be the song.
So Paper Bag was one of your original songs you played for us. How'd you go about writing that one?
I wrote it down on a paper bag.
For real?
That's where the title came from. I've kind of started doing the songwriting retreat at the end of the school year. When my brain is full, I'll head out of town, and my folks have a cabin up north, so I was heading up on the road.
Very Bon Iver of you.
Right, yeah, definitely harks to that idea. But it makes sense to get away from these things to clear your mind and be able to write songs. So I was heading on the road up there, starting to think about songwriting, and some of these ideas started to come to me, and I started jotting them down on the only thing I could find in the car when I was on the road. So
I met this guy, he was slick and dim, talking points etched on his cranium. Hey man, you need listening points too, don't you? Wears a spare tire up around his head. He just kept talking about and brought me to the ledge, trying to make a sex suit from a bunch of loose threads. And it's easy to forget who you are with a 9 to 5 in a local bar. This amusement park ride we've been on for so long spins us to a superficial equilibrium. Fear is the word of the day. Keep your head down, you better do what they say. What's the matter, boy? You got something to hide. Speaking to the mic, look straight at the camera and smile. Other day, felt someone in watching me and taking aim. Unplug and rewind, you gotta make myself a getaway. So I wrote it all down on a paper bag, dashboard epiphany on the motorway. Now it seems like that was something I was about to say. That it's easy to forget who you are with a 9 to 5 and a local bar. This amusement park ride we've been on for so long spins us to a superficial equilibrium. Hey, stop the ride, I wanna get off.
came to songwriting a little later in life, so do you think having a more mature perspective affected the way you write songs?
Well, probably. I probably would be further along if I started when I was young. So that's why I love when I run into a high school student that's recording original music. I just think that's so cool. You're 16 years old, and you have the confidence to have this idea and put it out there. And I think that's great. So I think, I'm probably catching up, But certainly I'm coming at it with perspective, and that's something that you can't, I can't tell my students, when you're older, you'll know what I'm talking about, because you have to be older to know that. So I definitely have some experiences and some wisdom to go on. But it's also, it's a little bit too, like my life as an adult and as father, isn't really the stuff of rock songs sometimes. So you kind of have to be a little more abstract or think about what other people are thinking about, because you're not writing "I'm on fire" when you're 43 and have, a family at home and a wife you love and all these things. So your perspective is different in looking back in the mirror a little bit. But you don't necessarily have a gold mine of relatable experiences happening to you every day, like maybe when you're 20 years old, 18 years old, and you're just living a different life where you're out there and, running around and coming and meeting all different people, and you're forming all your new ideas and experiences too. So there's good and bad, I think, to it, but what are you going to do? You just got to do them.
Another original you played was Porch Light. How'd you write that song?
So that one was kind of a relatable experience that I was having. I think probably a lot of people take liberty with their experience. You start with something that happened to you or you see happen to a friend, and then, maybe it's not a great story, so you embellish on some things that could make it more so. But just that idea of having someone that you love and that you miss, and they're not with you at that time, and so you're watching the clock, or you're wondering when you're gonna see them again. That feeling of waiting, and then you're kind of reflecting on that loneliness or the relationship in general. So that's an experience that that I think people have been through, that I've been through, and so I was in that moment and just started writing, and those were some of the ideas that I was feeling. So that one was pretty literal and from an experience that I was having.
Lights on, but you're not coming home. I'm finding it harder to be alone when I don't even know where you're gone. I guess we disagreed, but you call it a fight. Now, honey, that was last night. Don't even care who was wrong or right. I need you like a bird in the sky, baby. I lit a fire and I need your light. I come to you like a rising tide, only higher, stronger and deeper and wider. Lights out, and I'm just trying not to fall. I'm watching headlights cross the wall and wondering when you're gonna call. Watching the paint dry. Without you it ain't the same. Now all the color seems to fade, and life's so mundane in shades of gray. I need you like a bird in the sky, baby. I lit a fire and I need your light. Come to you like a rising tide, only higher, stronger and deeper and wider. I need you like a bird in the sky, baby. Hurry home, come on and prove me right. yourself to my blue block. Lord, sometimes it seems like somebody dropped the clock and the buck in the mud and the hands won't budge.
So tell me about these other bands you play with. I know you played solo for us today, but you're also in Kooky Uncle Tony, and you play with some other groups. Tell me about that.
Yeah. I've played with Kooky Uncle Tony with some of those guys for 20 years now. Back in high school, some of us were friends and got guitars together at the same time and tried to form, you try this, I'll try this. And we've switched instruments around a little bit, but that's kind of part of my musical growing up is that group. And we still get to play around Hastings a fair amount. We're going to play Coliseum for New Year's, and we play less. People are busy and we're older, but I also started playing with my brother-in-law, Jake Manders. He plays under that name around the Twin Cities. He plays original folk music, so that's been fun to do. And I've been subbing with a group called the Coxmen, who are around town a little bit, and they're really good and fun to play with. They play a little bit of everything, and so it's really fun to play with people. And any chance I get to, I'll do it.
So being involved in the music scene here, as well as the art scene in general, being a high school teacher, I know you work with a lot of different young people, and I'm wondering if you have any advice for young people who are trying to make a career out of making art, whether that's songwriting or sculpture or painting, whatever.
Sure. I think that you just have to commit yourself. You have to put in that time. You've got to have the passion to drive you to do that so that it's not work. But I think there's no substitute for pounding pavement and connecting with people and playing it over and over and showing up for the free gig on a Tuesday night or doing that 8-hour drawing that you're not sure is going to amount to anything. But it's really, I think, a commitment of time, and the more you do that, the more your work develops. You never know when the right person's going to see something at the right time. So hopefully you love it, and then just do it, and do it all the time. Sometimes it might feel like work, and sometimes it's just pure joy, but you just got to keep going because you don't really know when the door will open.
Trouble been wrong in my soul since the day I was born. Worry, yeah. Worry just will not seem to leave my mind alone. I better trouble. Seems like every time I get back on my feet, she come around, knock me down again. Worry, oh, worry just will not seem to leave my mind alone. I better She won't let me go, no.